Chris Fothergill-Brown joins us once again here on the Milkman Show. He's got a great YouTube channel called That's Rank, where you don't really rank food. You try foods. Weird, wonderful, strange, and the most bizarre foods you can find. I don't know how you do it, Chris, and it scares the hell out of me that a lot of the stuff you're trying is actually available at the supermarket just around the corner from me.
Usually, yeah. Earlier this week, we tried an ice cream sandwich that was made like corn on the cob and tasted like a corn on the cob. That was available at the Asian grocery store. You never know what you could turn up if you keep your eyes open.
I think if I want something that tastes like corn on the cob, you know what I'm going to go for?
Is it corn on a cob by any chance?
It is corn on the cob, yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. What is on the menu today?
Well, John, I know it's been a while.
Pardon?
2 long years, in fact, that you've mentioned that you have not been to a grocery store or the mall.
Well, yeah, COVID.
Yeah. So I want to tap into your deep recesses of your mind a little bit. I want you to think back to those days when we could, freely go to stores or malls, normalized place.
Those were the days, my friend. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Remember when we used to be able to walk into a grocery store, Chris? Those were the days.
I still do it. I don't know what's holding you back at this point, John.
You're crazy.
But,
I have people who do this for me now, you see.
Oh, you're fancy.
My wife does the shopping. She works in the mall.
That's a fair reason to be doing the grocery shopping. But I want you to picture back to when you would go to malls. You're mall walking and you pass one specific food stand. The smell is mesmerizing, way better than anything else in the mall. It's got sweet brown sugar and rich cinnamon just permeating the air.
Oh, Cinnabon.
You know what? That smell's not an accident, John. Cinnabon has worked very hard to ensure that they can get that aroma into your nose hole through any means necessary.
Well, it works.
I want you to think about this for a moment. On surface, the idea of building an entire franchise around a cinnamon bun is kind of ludicrous in theory. It shouldn't have worked. It's not lunch. It's not even really desserts. It's something that we got at church. It's at church, we get these half stale, hard, uninspired swirled breads with cinnamon in the middle. Like, who's buying that?
You went to a very different church than me. All we got was like the little wafer thing.
Well, that's when you go to the front and beg. But after, when you have the coffee and those crappy little cinnamon buns in the basement, sometimes you get those sandwiches with the crust cut off and some weird paste in the middle. Okay.
All right.
So here's what Cinnabon figured out better than anybody else. That smell of food, and you and I have talked about this, John, is what lures the customer in.
100%.
First and foremost, here's what they do that's so smart. They put their ovens at the front of the store and not the back, so that ensures that the fresh baked cinnamon is wafting out of their location and directly over to you. They even tested out this hypothesis by moving them to the back at some of their locations, and sales dropped dramatically.
Okay.
They've also got, in layman's terms, the weakest hoods that they're legally allowed to own on their ovens. Again, by doing so, it permits the smell to leak further and linger longer by not having good hoods on their ovens. And on top of this, they bake their rolls every 30 minutes at minimum, so there's never a chance for that smell to go away. If that marketing isn't cerebral enough, they've actually tested cinnamon from around the world and found that the best smelling cinnamon, proven in consumer tests, is from West Sumatra in Indonesia, which is a small, high elevation area that produces cinnamon with a really highly volatile oil, which is what you smell in the air as those oils that are carrying it. So to preserve that oil, they don't grind the cinnamon bark until they arrive in either the USA or Canada, depending on which store it's going to.
Okay, makes sense.
Their favorite mall location is actually the ground floor near an escalator, because heat rises and it allows the smell to perfume the entire mall and draw more foot traffic down to their spot. Whether it's brilliant or evil, I don't know. But my takeaway, however, is that everything we've discussed here today is also the reason that Canadian Tire failed miserably at the grocery business when they got into that about 15 years ago.
Oh, I forgot they did that.
Oh, God. Right away, my first thought was, it smells like a tire in there. Why would I buy milk?
It's funny. Like, you can walk into a Canadian Tire in BC, or you can walk into a Canadian Tire in Alberta or Saskatchewan or Ontario or Quebec or the Maritimes or Newfoundland. They all smell the same. You're right.
It's because they're cooking tires every 30 minutes with ovens with no hood fans on it.
The food science is such an interesting thing, right? Like, all you have to do is work for McDonald's to realize, every move that the people make and how the processes are designed, from when they take the order to what they get first, etc. It's all thought out, and it all affects how people don't bump into each other and the chain of command and stuff. I believe that Cinnabon has gone to great lengths to figure this all out. Wow, what an absolutely amazing introduction. I will never look at them the same. I will smell them the same, and I will frequent them the same, and I will be, forever smiling because of it. But, just makes me love them more, I guess. Good on them. Chris Fothergill-Brown with more where that came from on his YouTube channel, youtube.com/that'srank.